It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free, fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com. MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today on this Tuesday, February 17th. I had to remind myself of the day and the date a few seconds before the show. We are live on worldviewtube.com, WorldviewTube X and Rumble account, and WorldviewTube app. We're also live on X America News on X. We're live on my platforms on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and Substack. So wherever you're joining us, I appreciate you being here. Make sure to share the feed. We're live, so join the conversation on the comment section, and I will look on the side as always, and I will grab your comments, and we will chit-chat, and we will answer questions and discuss the topics. Also, if you don't mind putting a thumbs up, a heart, whatever the platform offers, that will put us right on top of the algorithm. Appreciate you guys very much. A lot to talk about as always, or not. I don't know. I couldn't decide. Am I going to talk a lot about it, or am I going to let everybody else just make their own conclusion? So we'll get there when we get there. Before we do, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to everybody who I have received your messages and your emails, and I know I haven't responded, but I got them. I'll respond to them tonight. Those of you who send an email to my email, which is liveuptofreedom@gmail.com, requesting for your name to be put on the list of signed copy pre-order of my book, The Architecture of Jihad, that will be released on March 21st. However, the Kindle pre-order is now live on Amazon. So just go to Amazon, look up the name of the book, Architecture of Jihad, or look up my name as the author. It will come up. And also, if you go to my website, you get the page. On March 5th, you can directly order your signed copies. However, since there's a limited amount, there are only 150 of them available. Well, I should calculate about 140 of them left now. I have opened the email request that you can send in an email, say, put me on the list of signed copies. And on March 21st itself, you can go to Amazon and just purchase the paperback, because apparently Amazon does not offer pre-order for paperback. So thank you for those of you who emailed and put your name on the list. Your name is on the list. I just haven't responded to you yet. I'm sorry. I'll do it tonight. It was a lot of Mondays are busy. Okay. Let's say hello to everybody on the chat first. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. And good afternoon to you as well. Yes, I agree. Tap those hard on Substack. It does help. I would love a signed copy. But postage is outrageous, so I will order from Amazon when the book comes out, Annie. I hear you, Lori. It is pretty outrageous. Soybeans on YouTube. Hello from Ohio. Hello from Ohio. I don't know where in Ohio you are, but so am I. Good to see you, Tennessee Girl, on YouTube. And also, Jerry, great to see you from Pueblo, Colorado. I don't know what's the weather like in Colorado, but I know you sometimes get harsh winter. Let's dive in. I don't know if you're following it or not, but this morning, well, middle of the night, local time, we, being the United States of America, concluded the second round of negotiations with Islamic Republic of Iran in Geneva. Location was the Embassy of Oman in Geneva. conclusion. Lots of news about it. But before we even touch on the negotiations, a video came out of President Trump and Air Force One, and a reporter asked about this negotiation. So let's take a listen to what Trump had to say, and then we go from there. And I'm sorry, that's clip number one.
What are you expecting from these Iran talks in Geneva tomorrow?
So I'll be involved in those talks indirectly, and they'll be very important. We'll see what can happen. It's been typically Iran's a very tough negotiator. They're good negotiators, or bad negotiators. I would say they're bad negotiators because we could have had a deal instead of sending the B-2s in to knock out their nuclear potential, and we had to send the B-2s. I hope they're going to be more reasonable. They want to make a deal.
Have you been told that a deal is next to impossible?
No, I think they want to make a deal. I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal. They want to make a deal.
They're tough negotiators. They're good negotiators. No, I would say they're bad negotiators. Can we make up our mind, please? Because I like to know what kind of negotiator they are. So it's good to know that President Trump is still positive about these negotiations. It's good to know that he is indirectly involved. And it's good to know that we think the consequences of not making a deal were the B-2s. We're just not going to mention that we dropped the B-2s because, well, we kind of felt left out and Israel was taking the attention worldwide. But okay. Anyways, that was his opinion. That's his. Now, negotiations went forward in Geneva, as I said. And I will repeat. I want someone from our administration to answer this question of why. Why is it that Oman is in middle of this? Why? Why? First of all, what happened to Qatar? I thought Qatar is our go-to guy for negotiations. And where did Oman just pop up from? Like, is this the new business that we find all the tiny little itsy-bitsy countries that are aligned with Iran, and then we make them mediators for our negotiations? I don't know. But, well, of course, as I said, many videos came out. There was reports, videos, whatever. And one of the main things I need to mention right now, it's important to mention, I don't have a way of confirming this yet. However, I have seen reports from the cameras and the reporters and the journalists at the location confirming that they never saw neither Witkoff or Kushner walking in to the embassy. The only way for me to confirm this is a tweet that Oman's foreign minister put out. On that tweet, I should pull it up. He kind of, it was right after the conclusion he put out the tweet. I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock our time or something. And he's positive about it, of course. The usual, typical, they concluded it was good. There's a lot of work to be done. But the key word in there, he said, the indirect negotiations. The first round, here I'm pulling it up to read it correctly. Today's indirect negotiations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America in Geneva concluded with good progress towards identifying common goals and relevant technical issues. The spirit of our meetings was constructive. Together, we made serious efforts to define a number of guiding principles for a final deal. The contribution of the IAEA, the agency, nuclear agency, Director General Rafael Grossi was much appreciated. Much work is yet to be done, and the parties left with clear next step before the next meeting. This was tweeted this morning at 10:04 a.m. Eastern Time. Why is this important? Few reasons. Number one, why did we just go from direct to indirect meetings? Because remember, the first one inside Oman, in the room, we had Witkoff, we had Kushner, we even had the head of SETCOM in there. So do I take this as another bending backward for the regime? Because they wanted this to be indirect. They didn't want to be in the same room with a bunch of, representatives of great Satan. And as I said, the only way I could confirm the claim of reporters at the scene was this tweet that came out, because he did say indirect. So number one, we have gone from direct negotiations to indirect. And also Trump said, I will be involved indirectly. So putting those two indirect words together, I'll say the reporters are not making it up. Or they didn't somehow, get Kushner and Witkoff in the embassy from a private door or a back door or whatever. So number one, we have gone from direct to indirect. Number two, we're positive, it's not impossible. We can do it. Now, another part is the conclusion. What was the conclusion? He mentioned on his tweet that everybody had their clear directions for the next step. The next step is that United States of America has agreed to give Iran 2 weeks, 2 weeks time. And this was confirmed by all parties. At this point, this is confirmed, including Iraqi and our side and Oman side. As of today, they have 2 weeks to redraft their end of deal. That will be a good final deal. There you have it. A second round. I don't want it. I told you. I told you on the first one, we're going to conclude with let's meet again. And then I said on the second one, we're going to conclude on let's meet again, but let's gap it up a little bit. The first one was 1 week gap between first and second round. It was a 1 week gap. Between second and third, it's a 2 weeks gap. They're going to come back in 2 weeks. Now, before the negotiations, the Supreme Leader of Iran, Khamenei, showed up again. Now, I want to say this because I'm not trying to undermine one end versus other. This is just important information that most likely you won't hear anywhere, or if you hear the opposite. I've heard many people say it, many reporters, journalists, that, he's hiding in his bunker again. No, he's not. He was at the actual location, and they're not going to remember during 12 Days War, he was at the bunker. Even when he released videos, you could see it's inside his bunker. Not this morning. So there are people out there who are making things up for whatever reason. Either clicks, or you want to get ahead of it, or you want to say the immediate attack is coming. Khamenei is not in his bunker. Neither are his sons. Neither is Khomeini's grandson. They're not in bunkers, which today would be a great day to get him. But he did come out, he did his normal talk, and he made his stand very clear that he is not going to sign off on any deal anyway. And I know many still believe in 3D chess, 5D chess, whatever. But those of you who followed me long enough, I'm a very logical, rational type of person. I'm a 2 + 2 = 4. I do puzzles. I do diamond paintings. It's like 18,000 pieces of drill put next to each other perfectly. There is no 2 + 2 = 4 coming out of this whole scenario. Not because I think the attack is coming. No. The scenario is the Supreme Leader. Everybody involved knows that the sign off, the last signature, comes from Supreme Leader. I don't care what Iraqi said. I don't care what Larijani offers. Khamenei needs to sign that. And he literally made it very clear that he's not signing any of these terms. Okay, we have that on hand. Two, as I said, we have moved down to indirect negotiations. Now, while all of that is going on, well, I shouldn't say while, right before all of this is happening, a video goes viral. I mean, super viral, right? Let's play the video first. Can we play clip number 3 real quick, and I'll tell you what the video is about. Let's look at it. Nighttime of our time, which is morning time of Iran today, marked the 40th day of the mass massacre and genocide of Iranians, 40th day. And in our culture, in America, you kind of just do one funeral and that's about it. But we do the funeral, and then on the 40th day, we go back. It's kind of not a funeral, but we go back for goodbyes. People of the neighborhood and the town gathered for you can see on the screen, they were literally there doing the 40th day ceremony of one of those who were shot and killed by the regime. The crowd was too much. There were too many of them, apparently. So the regime sent their riot police and their police, and you can hear the gunshots. They just opened fire on people. Just like that. This is not a video from January 8th. This is not a video from January 9th, January 10th. This is a video from last night, our local time. You saw people running. And for anybody who thinks this is fake news, just switch the channel. Don't listen to me. So I want to conclude on this segment. Second round of negotiation went forward with positive thoughts from Trump. Indirect negotiation. Location in Geneva, but actual room, closed door, that talks took place between Oman's foreign minister and Iran's foreign minister was inside Oman's embassy. And they were shooting at people while this was happening. So you tell me, if we had the red lines for Islamic Republic of Iran's regime, or we have officially reopened the red carpet Obama originally put down for them. We're going to be right back after this ad break.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for staying with me until now. And yes, head over to cyruswellness.com. Again, this isn't something I'm not asking you to go, add to your cost of living by buying luxury items or unneeded. You can get your everyday essentials that are 100% chemical free. Saves you a lot of money. And that way, also, you support me financially because as a consultant at Norwex, I receive a percentage commission of your purchase. cyruswellness.com. cyruswellness.com. Hi, Bev from Iowa. I agree with Tennessee Girl. Everybody on YouTube, don't forget those thumbs ups. That does help put us on the algorithm. Hi, Stacy on Facebook. Good to see you. Looking for, thank you. Thank you. I look forward to everybody's feedback. Those of you who pick up a copy of the book or the Kindle copy of the book, be honest with me. Let me know what you thought of the book, because if we're going to continue writing books, I need all of your help on feedbacks and to make it better. Stevie said, Mr. Trump, is Satan a tough negotiator too, is my question. Yes, I know. That comment was so weird. It's like, they're tough negotiators. They're good negotiators. I don't know what's happening. And Rapture ready. Oh, be safe. Fixing my roof shingles. I just heard a caller on Worldview Weekend or Worldview Tube, which is Brand's radio, saying we are, as in Trump, is shaking hands with the devil. Yes. And here's the sad news. Not the first devil. Remember Al-Shara? Remember Mamdani? Remember Erdogan? Yeah, list goes on. Sean Hannity seems to be deflecting. Sean Hannity is always deflecting. Jerry says, meanwhile, people are being killed in Iran. Exactly. I'm guessing you put that comment before we played the video, but yes, they are still, as I have, again, on my Facebook, on my X, on my Substack, guys, I do daily reports. If you're on Substack, the way you see the posts is click on notes on my page. You see all the posts. But I've been still putting out the execution orders, the execution that were carried, those who were killed. We're still waiting to hear if at the recent the cemetery shooting, if anyone was injured or killed. Yes, you're right. Meanwhile, and that was the on yesterday we played the clip, but that was exactly what Crown Prince Pahlavi said. These negotiations are going to go nowhere. They're going to keep buying time, which we just gave them another 2 weeks. And in meanwhile, every day, more Iranians are being killed. But I don't think that matters. Hey, Bat, good to see you. The Kurds were the only ones to come and fight to rescue these persecuted groups. Where are we talking about? Because Kurds have done so much bravery and fighting in many different places to help minorities and persecuted in Syria, in Iraq, in Iran. So yes, you are correct on that. The United States government is in love with Islam. Epstein and Bachebazi. Bat, I'm glad you said that. That actually, I'm working on a Substack to make that connection, and not just about Epstein, but in general of the romance, as Jamie Glasgow mentions on his book, the romance. Now he says the left's romance with Islam. I'm like, I'm sorry, this doesn't belong to left anymore. It's not a left-only issue. Thank you, Don. Yes, I did get your email. You are on the list for the signed copies. Amen, Serge. Free Iran. Lori, I don't think he's gullible. Let me not accept that. Trump is not gullible at all. He's not. It's so shameful. This is Don saying it's so shameful that no one mentioned the massacre of civilians, not the press, President Trump, no one. Let me put on my told you so mask back on my early Substack. Early January, I mentioned that. I said, wait, as they will fade it away, they will overwrite the narrative. They're going to turn it back into missiles and nuclear again. I'm sorry, that's the story of my people. They have a peace deal in Gaza, but there's still call for help for Gazans, right? But what can I say? It is shameful. Trump wants to spread the goodness around to his buddies, so they move around. That is very true. That I'll accept, that he does that. But gullible, I don't know. May I ask what needed to be defined? A stop killing and a stop nuclear. Yes, that is correct, Lurie. But at this point, as I said from day one, to stay out of it. But if U.S. is going to step in and be the grandpa, it's not even a stop killing and a stop nukes or nuclear program or missiles. At this point is you're done, you're over, bye. It's a warning of, hey, you got 24 hours to leave the country. That's it. And again, this is what Iranians want. I'm gonna say it. 95% of Iranians don't even care who wants what anymore. Done. As I said, videos and pictures are testimony to we didn't die so you could get a better deal, or we didn't die so you could get a better nuclear deal, or we didn't die for you to become a master of deal makers. That's the issue right now. And it's becoming harder and harder to be rational about it, because even through rationality and logic, as I said on my first segment, none of this makes sense anymore. It's back off, please step aside, stop butting into our business and let us deal with it. Most of us have asked Israel to help us remove the handcuffs from Bibi and let us figure it out. But again, as I have wrote on my Substack, as I have mentioned on my book, this cannot happen. We cannot have a free Iran or even a free any other country in the region. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, let me repeat. I hope some of you answer me on the comment section. How do you think first world countries became first world countries? How do you think that happened? Really? You think they just woke up and they had epiphany of what civilization means? They took the civilization, the history, the culture, the music, the instruments, the tools, the discoveries from the region. They took them, then they destroyed the region, so there is a ranking possible for them to be first world. I'm not saying that because lots of lovely Americans mention that I should not talk or come from an illiterate third world country, which I will gladly debate any of you as far as illiterate part of it goes. I'm not saying it because I come from there. Most likely, I'm not going to claim that even if I was born in America, I would say the same thing, because most likely I wouldn't have the education to say that. But the reality and the fact and history is proven that third world countries exist because first world countries needed to be first world countries. Just, that's why I call it the Western Empire. That's what it is. So no, we can't have a free Iran. Most certainly not a free Iran under Pahlavi leadership. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Yes, a lot of it is crazy. A lot of it. Lori said, I think the military movement to the area was all show. Yeah, I told you, we're flexing muscles. And if not, again, we're expanding because at this point, it's given that this isn't a scenario of dropping kind of a few B2s come home and make no impact, but brag about it. At this point, it's going to be a full-on war. If he decides to do it, which I doubt it, why would he compromise or jeopardize his peace board by starting a full-on war with Iran? Thank you, Lori. Oh, thank you. Lori says, Annie, sure loved your great conversation on Brandon last night. Superb. You are so wise and knowledgeable. I appreciate that. I always enjoy my conversations with Brandon. It's always good when I get the chance to go on his show. Sherry says, where do I find your email address? I have looked yesterday and today. Oh, my email address is pretty easy. Live Up to Freedom, which is the name of the show, liveuptofreedom@gmail.com. liveuptofreedom@gmail.com. Also, if you go to my website, liveuptofreedom.com, scroll to the very bottom on the footer, the email address is right there, written there. Skid says, I think that Trump desperately wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Might as well give him one so that he can be remembered alongside President Carter and Obama. Amen, amen, amen. Good closing. But here's the thing. He did get his Peace Prize from FIFA. You're correct, though. I've said it before as well. Really bad. Apparently, YouTube removed one of Bad's comments. Thank you, Jerry. I know it matters to you. I know it matters to every single one of you, either those who are commenting or the silent majority who don't make comments. I know it does, because you wouldn't be here. Because you know I talk about it wrong. You wouldn't be here if it didn't matter to you. And for that, I'm grateful. Hannity is the worst, Liz. He was always the worst. I knew he's the worst when I was canceled for going on his show for not agreeing to say radical Islam. This was back in 2011. I knew Hannity was worse back then. I wish people would stop giving Donald a free pass. I am with you, so it ends. Yes. I was on Hannah Faulkner today, which you can catch that show on her YouTube channel, Hannah Faulkner Show. And that was the thing. She asked the question of, a lot of people are saying this, saying that. And I said, we got to let go of the existence of parties. Now, let me explain. What I said was, I have learned in life, when a movement, any movement, it starts having sub-chapters, subcategories, it's when the movement has faded away. And the more sub-chapters, the more diluted the original foundation becomes. And I even said if President Lincoln was here, the founder of Republican Party, he was like, none of these groups are following my foundation. So we got to let go of this illusion of there is such a thing as Republican Party, or even there is such a person as a Republican. It doesn't exist anymore. Neither does Democrat, by the way. It's not just about Republican. But we keep giving free pass to our guy. Listen, when Obama was in office, all the Democrats were defending him. Same thing. That's our problem. The two-party cult of America. Iraqi Christians and Yazidis were unalived by ISIS, and the Americans apparently looked on. Only the courts came to help. Yes, bad. That's the thing, selective outrage. We have become comfortably numb to selective outrage. Free pass. I'm sorry, that's a reply to somebody else. My bad. Hi, Sean. Good to see you. Have any of you all heard the bet with Trump where he says he's not going to allow the prophecy to happen? No, I have not. Now I have to go look that up. No. Did he? Why am I even shocked? He did say he's not heaven material, or he's not going to heaven. I guess that wouldn't shock me to say either. We Germans don't look at Persians as backward people at all. Matter of fact, there's a kindred spirit. Yes, Bat. Yes. There was a time when there was a lot of... During World War II, one of the excuses Russia used, the Soviet Union, to invade Iran was the whole conversation of the Shah of Iran has not kicked Germans out of the country. And that's the story. If you want to know about it, I can expand on it. But that was their excuse. And it wasn't that Shah of Iran wasn't working with the Nazi regime. We had German experts and contractors in the country working. And it was requested for Iran to kick him out. And Shah was like, I have no reason. These are the people. I'm not okay. Like, if I see any of them, do a Nazi salute, sure. But they use that excuse of saying the Aryans, Germans, Persians, they have a brotherhood they're not going to break. And so you're right. Yes. Annie, please post on Substack when you're on someone else's program. Would love to see them. Absolutely. Yes, I will. That's the thing, though. These are the times where they will turn into notes. So if you're not following the notes section of Substack, then you will definitely miss them. Okay, we're going to go take our next ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. Keep those comments coming. Click those thumbs up and hearts, and we'll be right back. Well, hello everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. I have not seen most of you at lutfstudio.com lately, and I know it's probably because I don't have much inventory. But if you want to check out what is left in our inventory for now, lutfstudio.com is where you can find my art, and you can use promo code MISSION for 10% discount. Okay. There's always this excuse. One of the excuses going on, or one of the things a lot of outlets are using as excuse. We have heard it over and over. Again, I feel like I'm reading the same book or watching the same terrible movie. And I know the ending, but then I have to sit here and repeat the ending. And then come back and say, I told you because I've seen this movie before. You have too, but you're just seeing the different characters. You're not connecting the dots. Calm down. It's the whole, Iran's going to close or shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I could talk about. But I came across a clip on General Flynn's X he was on a different program. And I really liked the way he did it. He did it much better than me in a very short version. So I want to play that. This is General Flynn's response to anybody who's so concerned that we should tiptoe and negotiate with Iran's regime, because what if they actually deliver on their promise and close the Strait of Hormuz? Do we have the clip? I didn't say the clip number. Sorry, that's clip number 2.
If the Iranian regime threatens to close the straits, oblige them, let them do it, and see how long that lasts, because it will shut their economy down almost overnight. And to have a weakened economy as they do right now, that's part of why the protesters are protesting, because people, they're tired of eating stale bread. And so the people in Iran are tired of not having their freedoms.
Bingo! Why are you all making a big deal out of them shutting down the Strait of Hormuz? That's okay. I agree with him. Let them do it. No. Number one, tell them, sure, go ahead and do it. And watch as they don't. And don't get upset with him. He goes on to break it down. He didn't say this is over economy, the revolution. He breaks it down, but he does touch on as it is, part of it was. So I want to be very clear so you don't think that he's turning the narrative into this is just economy. Now, are you telling me, genuinely, are you telling me that if General Flynn knows this, nobody else in Trump administration knows about it? I mean, if not, President Trump, you're best friends with General Flynn. You offered him 9 different positions in your administration in 2025. Pick up the phone call and say, okay, since you know way more than my people, apparently, what's up? Again, going back to logic, rationality, there is no logic behind any of this. There's no explanation. People, are you tired of coming up with excuses for this behavior? Are you going to actually genuinely come out and say, listen, as we talked about on Hannah's show, nobody's perfect. We make mistakes. You made a mistake. But President Trump, do you want to address the elephant in the room, which is your post on Truth Social on January 13, telling Iranian patriots to stay on the streets because help's coming? Is anybody going to bring that up? What do we mean when we say we hold people accountable? This is what we mean. Okay, you said what you shouldn't have said. We backed you up by saying Trump is a man of his word and he will deliver. We said Trump is not Obama. Okay, all of that is reasonable, perfect. But now, 34 days later, even if you believe all of these negotiations are, a front for the back to get ready to attack, 34 days is like, honestly, you can't claim the 34th day attack had anything to do. Hold him accountable. Say, sir, you want to address that elephant in the room? You want to tell me if the help would take 35 days, why did you tell them to take their institutions if possible? Like, what were they supposed to do? Take the institutions, and then how were they supposed to hold on to them for 35 days? It's logic. I'm not anti him. I'm not attacking him. I'm asking you, why are you not on the same page as I am? Because I'm positive what I'm saying here has nothing to do with my Persian blood. It doesn't. It has everything to do with my brain cells. 2 + 2 = 4. If you have jumped on the wagon of 2 + 2 can be anything, then it's a different story. Well, we have to negotiate with them because of the Strait of Hormuz. We have to negotiate with them because they have Israel hostage. So if all of that was on the table, why did we say we're coming? If we knew from day one that Iran has the upper hand and we can't attack them and we need the negotiations, why do we stand on camera and say they need to agree? We don't need this deal. They need the deal. You see what I mean? The narrative is bouncing off of every single wall in the building, and all we hear is echo. I am good at making things like that. Anyways, so holding one accountable right now for anybody who says, Oh, I have no problem criticizing Trump. I just don't like when people blame Trump for everything. I agree with you. But why are you not criticizing this one act? Again, a mistake. But this one act has affected the face of America worldwide. Why are you not asking him to address this mistake? Because first of all, you know he's not going to label it as a mistake, which is going to make things worse. You prefer him not addressing the elephant in the room because he's just going to tell the reporter, you're still talking about this Epstein guy? Who cares? Just another time of elephant that should have been addressed in the room. Just the point of, when I say Trump is a successful politician who will not turn into a human rights activist overnight on my Substack, don't come at me. Don't come at me. Give me 30 days and it will be proven. It will be proven. Also, you cannot claim that you love Trump for the fact that he's a chess player and he's doing a 3D chess or whatever, and then come and say he's a liberator. Again, they don't go in the same line. As I said on Hannah's show, expect me to lose my head and yell and scream and cry because I am the human rights activist with resume of 21 rescue cases in a little over a decade. There's one rescue a year. It's not in that order, but expect me to do that. Expect me to report on it and cry over it and pull my hair out. Don't expect him to do it. It's a wrong expectation too. In a way, I'm defending his actions, but I won't defend your lack of response to his action. Because there's a difference. The reaction to the original action is what makes we the people work in America. If we the people has no reaction at all, or the wrong reaction, then we the people are not in power anymore. We're not. Sherry said, you bet, but who does he listen to? As Alex Jones said, and I played it on my show, he apparently listens to those who boost his ego. Not my words, Alex Jones's words. I mean, Alex Jones chose different terminologies, but Trump listened to those who rub his ego. China is the main one that needs Hormuz open. Exactly, Stevie. John Flynn has a valid point there. And I've said that point on the previous times of they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They're not going to do that. They can't, especially today. But again, we're just going to pretend like no one in our administration has that information. Like they don't. Like all it takes, listen, look at the map of Iran. You'll get it. Just look at the map of Iran. You don't need to be some expert in analyst of things in Iran. You just look at the map. If you got any position inside the White House, inside the administration, look at the map and you have that information. Seems like Trump has been compromised by his own cabinet. Jerry, yes and no. I believe, at least myself, being compromised is always, end of the day, it's due to you. You chose to be compromised. Again, as I said, as Alex Jones also said, we pick our friends, right? What is it? We have this saying in America. Ha ha ha. This time I didn't say it. We have this saying in Farsi. We have this saying in America, show me my friends and show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Applies the same thing. Show me your cabinet and I'll show you your legacy. He chose these people. He's sticking with Pam Bundy, knowing the facts and information. So he is compromised, but by his own choice of especially who he listens to and his picks. My headset was pulling me, sorry. Jerry said, no, I'm sorry, I read that. Sean says, I think the problem is Trump cares about Trump and he just wants that peace prize. Exactly, see? Sean gets my point. My wife declared that Trump is not a Satanist, but a Trumpstan of Trumpism, the newest religion. Oh my goodness, I'm please ask your wife if I could steal that. I probably never properly pronounced it, but I want to steal that. Guys, we're going to go take our very last ad break. When we come back, I finished reading your comments. We're going to conclude. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Be right back.
But with Brandon, it's always cutting edge stuff happening in the world. And it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus, you're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent, you're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because he, from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen. I agree with Dr. Andy Wood. We should support this network. I've said it many times. We should support this network. Because the minimum is, when you support this network, you keep me on air. The bigger picture is, when you support Worldview Weekend or Worldview Tube, you are keeping one of the rarest, less than a handful networks that is still not compromising. Back to the compromise choice award. A network that I didn't meet Brannon yesterday, nor did I start my show yesterday. I started working with Brannon in January of 2018 when he flew me to Memphis for his documentary, The Siege. And of course, Phil Haney vouched for me and vouched for Brannon. That's all I needed to hear. So I've been working with Brannon in person and directly since 2018. Yeah, he doesn't compromise. He does not pick a show and, allow it on his network for popularity or clicks or followers. He doesn't. Trust me, on my show spot, just this show spot, he could have bring somebody else with millions of followers out there who would bring traffic to his network. He picked those of us who are number one truth tellers and show our receipt. The most important thing, I can say this, Brannon, correct me on your show if I'm wrong. Brannon's priority is biblical worldview. Number 2 is truth and nothing but the truth. Number 3 is, if you can't back it, don't say it. That's a network that you should support. WVWFoundation.com. WVWFoundation.com, or just go to Worldview Tube. There's a foundation link there. Make a tax deductible donation. They have all the options. You can do it online. You can send in a check. You can make a phone call. There's a phone number there. Just make a call. Read your card over. They made it very easy. It is tax deductible. That's important. And here soon, tax returns are coming in. So dedicate part of that tax return for WVWFoundation.com. Support Brannon, support the network, support everybody on the network. That includes yours truly. Thank you, guys. Let's go back and finish the comments, because I did say we will do that. So, Beans, I agree with you. Calling Trump a politician as opposed to a humanitarian is not a slur, but it's an accurate description. And China is connected to Iran. So if Iran shuts Hormuz, it will hurt their ally China. Therefore, we shouldn't worry about it. Tarek on YouTube, good to see you. Making deals with Ayatollah's regime is like making deals with the Nazi Germany, unthinkable during World War II. Amen. Exactly. And that's the question. Would we do it if it was today? Because I think we would. Because I don't want to just focus on Iran. Look, we shook hands with al-Shara. We shook hands with al-Shara, also known as Jelani, the man we wanted. We had a $10 million bounty on his head. We shook his hand. So I really think if it happened today, we would make deals with Nazi Germany and Hitler too. And we would probably call Hitler, I don't know, a good-looking man, at least. The bare minimum credit would be like, good-looking mustache. Like, the minimum. We would throw a good-looking mustache in there. Yeah. Hi, Paymonjan. So good to see you. I do know what you mean. I know what you mean. And I want you to keep quiet. Guys, Paymon is joining us from Iran. And he said, I have a lot to say, but you know what I mean. When you're in the heart of the fire, you better keep silent. Know that we're praying for you. And know soon you get to tell all of us, all of it, because we're going to have a free Iran where you won't be persecuted for telling the truth and witnessing to what's happening in Iran. Jerry said, I think Trump gave Iranian regime 2 weeks before because he has another warship heading to Iran. Will take about that amount of time. I love Brandon House. He tells it like it is, fair to both sides. Yes, Jerry, he does. And I can respect your point of view. But my question goes back to why do we need all of this equipment and ships and jets and all that there? But again, we can look at it from that perspective, or we can look at it from the perspective of why negotiate? Why give them time if you're going to attack them? That's the part that makes no sense. It would have been better if you're not negotiating. We would have kept them more on their toes. Maybe instead of killing 10 to 30 Iranian a day, maybe they would have killed 5 Iranian a day just out of fear. You know what I mean? But when you start the negotiations, as I said, Khamenei is no longer in his bunker. But I'll respect your point of view. I know at the end of the day, there is that little tickle of let's have a better reason for doing Trump's doing than not having one. Liz says, I can't even imagine what I would do if I was put in that position to Paymon. Yes, exactly. That's not a good position to be. Have any of you seen the 22 feet gold statue of Trump with hand fist raised to be unveiled at the G20 in Miami? Oh. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. You know, I'm going to have fun with that. Brandon has a great integrity. I would trust him over anyone. Amen and amen. Agreed. This Saturday, February 21st, will be 6 years of Phil Haney's murder. Yes, Scott. Thank you. Yes, it will be 6 years. 6 years of liars sticking to their story of suicide, and the rest of us trying and getting nowhere. And that's why I don't expect much justice in this country. Because when a man like Phil Haney is murdered, and FBI comes out and confirms a suicide, and never ever even answer any more correspondence from those of us who knew better, you know justice has died in this country for cover-up. Get rid of the regime, you solve many problems. Absolutely. Exactly. Oh, that's all right, Tennessee girl. It's all right. Okay, guys, we're coming to an end of the show. Let me go ahead and give one more plug to my book. If you'd like to pre-order your Kindle of my book, The Architecture of Jihad, head over to Amazon, look up the title of the book or just my name, and the pre-order for the Kindle is available. If you'd like to get a signed copy on a limited inventory or quantity, send me an email today, liveuptofreedom@gmail.com, and let me know you want to be added to the list. Otherwise, you can wait until March 5th for the direct purchase of pre-order of signed copies. And the book itself will be released on Amazon and Kindle on March 21st, the first day of the spring, also the Persian New Year, the day the world comes out of the dark, cold, and frozen winter. It's a rebirth where life rejuvenates itself. The reason I picked that day is because I think, or at least I pray, by grace of God, this book will be that new start for anybody and everybody who likes to get rid of jihad in their neighborhood, in their city, in their state, and in their country. So, Architecture of Jihad, forwarded by Dr. Bill Warner, the godfather of counter-jihad movement in America and the world. What an honor. Will be released on March 21st. Place your Kindle order, pre-orders on Amazon, or write me an email for your signed copy pre-orders. And as I said, unfortunately, because I'm going to have to send them out myself, there will be extra charge for shipping, where you won't have to pay that on Amazon, but the Amazon copies will not be signed. I'm not trying to make a deal out of my signature. I don't actually have a good signature. I'm just making sure you have all the data and the information. Other ways beside the book, and of course, if you want to send that information to your friends, family, loved one, tell them that, you know, the book will be out soon. The book tour is also starting. I will start in announcing where, when, how. So if you're close by, I would love to see you. And of course, you can pick up a copy of the book at the event, which will avoid the shipping costs and all of that good stuff. Other ways, if you want to support me financially, is head over to cyruswellness.com. That is cyruswellness.com, where you can purchase Norwex products that are 100% chemical free, and they will save you money in the long run, give you a healthier household, and also a portion of your purchase in form of commission will come to me. Another way is my artist studio, of course, lutfstudio.com. lutfstudio.com. Use promo code MISSION for a special discounts, or I think right now we're running a 10% discount. Last but not least, for sure, my Substack, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. You can subscribe for free. Majority of my work is for free. I want to say easily a 90%. But you can also become a paid subscriber, where you directly support me financially and get access to exclusive Substacks, shows, and soon live Q&As and MP3 files that I will, it's going to be a series that's going to give you more historical understanding into what I talk about here, first world countries versus third world countries. A lot of these countries that you think are countries, but they were literally drawn by pen of those in power to split the power in the region. That's another thing a lot of people don't understand. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't just, France and UK and Americans like, oh, let's draw a border here and give them their own country. No, it's the divide and conquer. When you divide the region from three original countries into what's now, you have more power. You can control it better. You can win it over better. You can fight it easier. And the division within the pen borders, as I call them, or drawn borders, becomes a stronger, where you can have more control. Those audio files will be coming out soon as well, and they will be exclusively for paid subscribers. And I want to be very clear, I'm not putting them behind paywall because, I want to market my paywall. It's because I want to show gratitude to those who jumped in last 8 months or so and put their money behind me and my mission. I want to be grateful to them. I want to make sure they know that I am working on extra projects for them, because they had no reason. It wasn't a mandate. They chose to support my work. So I would like to dedicate some of the work to them only. Thank you, Lori. Lori says, love the cover. Great picture of exactly what Islam is. Death. I know. I guess it was a risk that I was willing to take, because that cover could freak some people out, right? Paymon John. Paymon says, I'm an old man, but these days I sometimes cry just like a child. Mouse says, same here. And Les says, we are all crying with you. Yes, Paymon, we are all crying with you.
Tonight on the Worldview Report, 40 state attorney generals, they back the Senate version of the Kids Online Safety Act, pushing for device-level age verification that critics warn could lead to digital IDs.